What up, Kyle? Part three, round three. This is the final round. Podcast in three. Podcast in three.
As Ruban,
Oh, we lost you there, Kyle. You with us now?
yes. I said I got really bad deja vu just now.
Well, we're doing round three of our.
That's a bad deja vu. Is it not coming in very good?
Bad as in it's severe.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Severe.
so it's a negative experience for you. If you had like a really good deja vu, it'd be like, oh,
I
wow,
don't like
really
deja
good.
vu. Makes me uncomfortable.
Deja vu is a really interesting phenomenon. Number one, the file that I thought I lost. Okay, so when we end this meeting, let me do the ending. Let me do the figured out. Let me do the.
You take some of your inhaler just now?
I was gonna say, let me do the figuring around here. Will you rock? Let me do the figuring. Okay, so with these meetings end, let me end the meeting. That way it doesn't crash. I think that's how we were able to do it the first time. Everyone jumped off, and I was like, and then my thing got frozen. That frozen circle, and I had to control delete task manager, stop Zoom. But I went to the file holder. I know, I'm just yapping. Okay, so this is number three, and what were we talking about? Oh, deja vu. What I like about deja vu is when it's happening, obviously we all know what it is, but what they think it might be is the processing, because your eyes physically see things obviously before your brain processes what you're seeing. So what is happening is when it goes to whatever part of the brain back here that visualizes, it double processes the information to your brain. And so it's kind of like it's on a loop. And so it's you're already seeing that moment until your brain comes back onto a proper tracking of what you're seeing. So the already seen, or the deja vu, is already literally being seen, but in that microsecond of a moment that you're experiencing that loop until it corrects itself.
I think you've told
That
me
is cool. Mind blown, my friend. Mind blown.
And people will say, well, no, that can't be because it seems so real. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're literally experiencing the moment that you're in at that moment again in that moment until it goes away, until it corrects itself.
Kind of like a mini Groundhog Day.
Yeah, without the humor. All right.
Or
So
I'm just re-experiencing my life over and over again.
Well,
that or your brain thing.
And actually, I had a little quick theory on it too. A more fun theory is that it's actually in our DNA. We don't have, of course, we don't know every part of our DNA and what it does, but we carry the DNA of our ancestors, right? And so there's memory banks, I think, within the DNA that we somehow read into. I think that's what our dreams are too. Is we tap into that DNA like a memory card.
Yeah, there was an article on that about how you inherit trauma from your ancestors.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, we inherit. The funny thing is, we talk about inheriting things from our parents, and our
oh god,
it would only make sense if we inherit. Who knows what we inherit from generations past?
So you get generations past. I was gonna make a joke about you guys when I first signed on to the podcast, but I forgot. I was gonna say, man, I haven't seen this place is sure packed with Ryan's people. I haven't seen so many Ukrainians on a single podcast in all my life.
That's good. I like it. All right. So let's get into it, and we'll wrap this puppy up. We're at Paulo. We're at Paulo's meeting. His think tank people, his trainers there, and
there's mailbags in the corner.
Oh, was there mailbags in the corner? So that would be the equivalent.
Mailbags in the corner, and then you have his belt right behind him that's encased in glass.
I love it. I wonder who the guy was that put the belt in there. He's like, okay, Creed, you done wearing that thing over your shoulder? I got to put it in the glass container now.
Who here has what's the biggest sports trophy you've ever seen in person?
The Grey Cup for the Canadian Football League.
Okay.
Yeah, Ruben.
The ring for the American football.
That American football championship, that's the most watched thing in the world. What's it called?
It's called the Ultimate Bowl or something like that.
It's called the Giant Bowl.
I don't know. Are you guys teasing me?
No, you know what it's called, right? The main event that football holds every year. You know what it's called, right?
Okay. In all seriousness,
Oh, we're serious.
I did not know what it was called. I just thought the nickname was Super Bowl. Like everybody's having like a super time.
Wow. Okay. Well, no, I'm not even a football guy.
So what's the ring called?
What's a Super Bowl ring? Or championship ring. That's all they are. It's just to say that, NBA has them. I don't think the NHL has them. I don't think the NHL is big on the bling, but
They do have them. The NHL has the rings.
you never hear about it the way you hear about with football and basketball stars.
I know Grant Fuhr has, I think, 5.
Yeah.
And he rotates them.
Oh, wow.
Because he doesn't wear all 5 rings. But
that'd be kind of your hand would be like this.
I knew one of his kids in high school.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I don't know her anymore, but yeah.
All right. So we're now on to Apollo's with his people, and they're trying to convince Apollo to stay away from Rocky. Apollo is fixated. He's told his people that he's fixated on fighting Rocky because he wants to. He's got some personal pride here, and rightfully so. This guy is no slouch. So let's be honest here. Even from Rocky's own lips and Creed, Apollo was the best fighter ever, within this universe. Apollo was the best fighter ever. He's perfect. He's a perfect fighter.
Okay, I have a comment. This is where the Rocky series kind of diverges a bit from reality. I understand why Apollo's pride's hurt. I 100% agree. I'm not saying you're wrong. Everything you said is right. But the weird thing about Apollo is that he has this perfect record of all knockouts, prior to the first Rocky fight. Now, big boxing people correct me if I'm wrong, but that's basically never happened that I know of. I know Rocky Marciano was undefeated, but a lot of fights go to decisions. It's not that unusual. Muhammad Ali had a lot of fights go to decisions. I think all of the Joe Frazier fights went to a decision. The Canadian George Chuvalo went to a decision. It's not weird. It's usually it wouldn't hurt a fighter's pride if they went the 15 rounds and they won a decision, even if it was a split decision. So that's kind of a mythical thing about Creed, that he has to have a knockout every time. That if he doesn't get a knockout, he's somehow unsatisfied. Though I guess it's there's nobody who went the distance with him. I guess that's the extra pain there.
I think Bill Cosby had a similar thing where he needed to have a knockout every time.
Terrible. Yes, he did. He left people. He left people in stitches. So I'm not really sure what that means. I'm just saying laughter. I don't know. Okay, so so. Where were we? Yeah, so as people were saying, hey, look, stay away from this guy. He's dangerous. He's not good for us. That's a great scene from Tony Burton there saying, we got to, I've never seen anyone fight this way with you. He keep coming back after you. We don't need that kind of man in our life. He's dangerous. And, you got to think this is their bread and butter, right? This is their Apollo.
Yeah.
This is unlike Mickey. They really are. There's nothing wrong with it, but they want him to stay champion. They want to make this money. This is their income. This is their once Apollo's not champion anymore, they're just going to be living off whatever royalties training staff live off of. And so they're saying, look, you beat the guy, or you won. And then what does Apollo say?
I won, but I didn't beat him.
That's right. He knows.
I'm trying to say the knockout thing.
Yeah.
I think I said this before at our previous one, Ryan, that didn't get recorded, but Tony in this movie is basically Mickey in the third movie. Mickey does not want Rocky to fight Clubber Lang, and Tony does not want Apollo to be fighting Rocky Balboa.
Right.
Because I think Tony saw right from the beginning how dangerous Rocky is. Right from when he saw him punching meat on TV, he said, this guy means business. And then he realized this guy was for real in the fight. And I think he knows that this guy is someone who could potentially beat Apollo. Because he could take, he's not a better fighter than Apollo. Apollo is is stronger than him, faster than him, more skilled than him. But he's saying he beat that man more than any man's ever got beat before. He still kept coming after you. We don't need this guy. We could fight the top 2 contenders for the same amount of money and just move on.
Yeah, same amount of money, less risk. Let's just get the paycheck and go home.
Yeah, let's keep my fighter safe.
Yeah,
let's keep the championship going, and that's what Mick did when Rock's 10 title defenses. He didn't pair him up. They weren't setups, but he didn't put him up against.
But they were handpicked.
He said, "Setups? No, they weren't setups. They were killers like this guy. He's a wrecking machine, and he's hungry."
They were handpicked. Nah, they weren't handpicked. Yeah. Sorry, Rip, go ahead there.
No, I don't really have anything to contribute. It's just I keep on thinking these people that have the entourage. Like, how do you get in an entourage? Would you want to be in an entourage?
I'd be the Stallone's entourage in a heartbeat. So I guess it depends.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, okay.
I'd have all females personally if it were me, but because women are smarter and awesomer. But anyways,
like Gaddafi. I think it's Gaddafi that had all the female.
I think he did, or like the guy on not Charlie's Angels, Charlie Wilson's War, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I think he said, you could teach a man to do a job, but you can't teach him to grow tits. Sort of. Anyways. Anyways.
You know what? Tell that to Caitlyn Jenner.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Anyways, Apollo, one thing I want to say about Apollo is that he's more than a fighter. Apollo's a businessman. He basically promoted that first fight. Like, Jurgens was useless. He didn't know what to do, and Apollo took over. And he says in the second movie, he's promoting this fight himself. So you have to have an entourage. Like, he has to have legal people. He has to have PR people. He has to have a big staff. And he was distracted by that in the first film. Like, he was sending roses to the mayor. He was doing this and that. He was trying to – they had something about Canada in the first film that the guy was saying, you should take your radio spots out of the Midwest and move them over for Canadian publicity. And then the guy's like, I know a guy in Toronto that can get you some good tax breaks. You know, like for Apollo, it's not just fighting. It's he's a showman and a businessman. I think that's why he was so incredibly wealthy, not just because he was a fighter, but because he got those promoter bucks from the fight. Like, I'm sure he made way more than Rocky on both fights.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about him being not only just a good fighter but an entrepreneur. In the Rock world, that's Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar is a guy that's been around forever, obviously, but I think he's more rich off of his side entrepreneur stuff, his own being a product of himself, than he actually is off his music. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I think Sammy's worth like over $80 million on his liquor.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of showmanship, the Ringling Brothers just shut their doors.
Yeah, no more elephants.
Well, no, the elephants will still exist, but just happily.
They will be poking and prodded until they walk on their hind legs.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a happily ever after story for the elephants, not so much for the Ringling Brothers.
You know, as I've gotten older, I've just turned into, I start to realize the things that I enjoyed as a kid was really hard for these animals. Like SeaWorld captivity, the zoo. I've really kind of turned into an I don't even want to hear, we're saving, okay, whatever. But it's like the whole like captivity of creatures. It really breaks my heart seeing these wild animals in a cage. I don't know why. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, I know this is nothing to do with Rocky, and edit this out at will, but I have like this horrible. Oh, well, shut up, Ruben. You're like the worst. Sorry, I shouldn't have said shut up. I feel really bad.
I can mute you whenever I want.
I can take another 10, pal. That's good.
Ugh. Anyways, I feel like really guilty about eating meat, but it tastes too good. I just keep doing it anyways.
Yeah, and I want to get into. I love meat as well. We try to get the open range and the local farms because we just know.
I could tie this back to Rocky, by the way.
Meat, meat, please.
Well, look. When he walked into the meat packing plant, he's like, "This is like an animal morgue." In the first movie, And so, like, he must have really hated working there. So, anyways, that's why I tied my comment back into Rocky. So you can't say I went on too much of a tangent.
Our episode called Rocky Pounds of Pavement Slaps Meat. It's one of our top downloads. I think the title sells it. I'm not even joking.
Well,
Rocky.
you should have said beats meat. I would have said. He beats it because he beats meat in the first film. And I think he goes back to beating meat a little bit more in the second, and he beats more meat in Rocky Balboa.
So where's the mute button for Kyle? I'm trying to...
What's that, Rube? Say it again.
I was just wondering where the mute button for Kyle was. I was just...
Oh, okay. So
I don't think you can mute it. Only I can as host.
Oh. I'm just
because I was thinking of trying to punch a cow carcass for the podcast sometime.
Well, I believe in only punching live cows because I'm a vegetarian.
Well, no, I'm not in Alberta, and I have family who have cattle ranches, right? So I could probably punch a cow if I wanted to. I could probably beat some meat if I needed to.
All right, so I'll let you beat your meat later, and we're going to get into we'll get into now. Apollo, of course, listens to his people. This is a great scene because he's listening to his people. We think as a viewer he's listening, taking note, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to listen to what they have to say, yeah. And then the moment they stop talking, he's like, I want to hear what I want a smear campaign on this guy. Which I think is hilarious because this is obviously pre-internet, so they really had to be creative because there's no, like, you couldn't just create websites and pages and memes and all, like look at Trump, for example. The smear campaign on Trump is very easy and fun, but we can do it with social media very quickly. But back in the 70s, you actually had to employ people, which they do. They actually now employ, like, literally Mickey's gym gets had. I don't know how they do it, but like half of Mickey's boxers are in on this smear campaign.
Well, yeah, because imagine if Paulo had Twitter.
Right. Yeah, he would have
put on there.
Italian chicken calls himself, whatever his name
Italian scallion or whatever his name is.
Yeah. So we'll get to
he'd be tweeting at 3:00 in the morning.
That's right. And he's probably a lot more articulate than Mr. Trump. So we see the next scene that Rocky's he's at the gym and he's working. He walks in to work and people are looking at him right away. I love how you have half the gym. It's always kind of like a bad acting, kind of like a bad scene where the side actors, the people, they all kind of look at Rocky as he walks in. Granted, he was, a bit of a celebrity. He walks in, but they're not looking at him happily. They're looking at him already to kind of mock and scoff. I'm like, oh, look at this guy. Who does this guy think he is? It's almost like, guys, this guy can knock any one of your heads off, but you're all like looking at him like he's some sort of bum, and he's anyway. So
someone says, "Where's your heart, man?" And then hands him
the paper. That's whatever that ragtag paper is. He hands him that boxing news. What was that thing that he had?
Well, it was just some hate leaflet that Apollo's people probably came all the way out to Philly for to drop at this gym, right? It's funny because heart is an important word because even in Rocky's lowest point in the first film, when he loses his locker, Mickey says to him, "You have heart, but you fight like a goddamn ape." And, so even when Mickey didn't like him, he still acknowledged that he had heart. He always had that.
Right.
And then now he comes into the gym after having gone through this big fight, and now people are saying he has no heart.
All right, so Ruben's got to clean up the kitty litter boxes, so we'll say goodbye to Ruben. Ruben,
it's a pleasure, but my ding-dings now.
Understood. Hey, man, we'll talk to you soon. All right, so Ruben's got a bit of a family or he's not able to be with us any longer. So we're going to tie this up, though, because my wife's calling for me as well, which is fine. So let's talk about that paper that he was given. It was called on that paper said Apollo Creed versus the Italian chicken. Oh, stallion chicken.
The stallion chicken. Let's get in this fight, Ryan. Let's do this. We got a big fight about this the last podcast.
But I was right. I sent you the picture.
No, you're not right. You're not right.
Did you see the picture I sent you? It says stallion chicken.
I agreed. It did say stallion chicken. Our argument was on why it said stallion chicken.
Yeah.
You said it was a typo.
Yes.
I said they did it on purpose.
Why?
Okay.
Why not Italian chicken? Because the animal is the replacement. See, before you get to yours, here's mine. The reason why I think it's a typo or like a prop typo, but there's too much money to redo this prop, right? And so what they did, you can shake your head all you want. So what happened was they put stallion chicken, which doesn't make, because he's known as the Italian stallion, and so they should have just easily replaced the animal, which is the horse, with the chicken, which depicts him being, yellow, scared. So he's now the Italian chicken. So he's not a stallion anymore. He's a chicken. Being a stallion chicken is actually kind of be like a buff. It's like a mega chicken. It's like you're a big boy. You're still a chicken, but you're a stallion chicken. It's better than being a scaredy cat, right? You're a stallion chicken. The stallion describes the chicken, so it's a poorly worded insult. Go.
I agree with you. It is a poorly worded insult, and it makes no sense.
Okay, so
Stallion chicken makes no sense. It should be Italian chicken, but I think they put stallion chicken on purpose. So hear me out. Now, if you recall later in the film, Bill Baldwin or Stu Nahan, I can't remember which one, said, "I've never seen so many Italians in all one place in my life." He says, "Oh, you said that, not me." Because, they're cognizant of being, I want to say racist, although Italian is not necessarily a race. It's like an ethnic slur or whatever, right? They're cognizant of not being biased against an ethnicity. So if Apollo Creed says, okay, I want some smear campaign to go against Rocky, then it's not Apollo making these leaflets. It's some lawyer or whatever. And so probably someone wrote, okay, Italian chicken. And then they were like, whoa, that sounds kind of like a ethnic slur. We can't do that. And so some idiot says, okay, just put stallion chicken instead because he's the Italian stallion.
All right.
And they do that to be basically politically correct, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting theory. I think it's being colored by your 2017 glasses, which is fine. In 1979, political correctness was so far off the radar, but who knows? That could be fair.
They were an ethnic minority entourage. So they might have been more sensitive towards that issue.
Right, sure. But we see later when we'll get to the scene, but when Rocky leaves the pet shop with Adrian, there's those guys, calling him names, and the guy actually yells out, "Hey, it's Italian chicken."
Because those guys don't give a damn about political correctness, right?
That's
but some
true.
entourage would.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? We'll let the fans.
Only Sly Stallone or like the production crew can answer this for us. So Sly, if you're listening, bro, you gotta give us a call. Call me Collect if you have to. Just call me.
Whatever your name is.
780-555-4493.
That's awesome. All right, so Rocky kind of shrugs off the insults and stuff, and then he goes. You see Mickey train a new prospect, and he's like, "Come over here, Rock. Show this kid how to snarl. Snarl. What you?"
Key caller was his name.
Yeah,
good call. Some skinny little guy.
Yeah, there's no way this guy was going to beat the likes of Creed.
Well, no, he'd be in a different weight class, right? He'd be like a featherweight or something.
Yeah, light featherweight.
Yeah, or super featherweight. I don't know.
So Rocky comes in. He hits hits the bag, and he's got the snarl, and he kind of shakes off his chewing gum. And then
he smiles after the snarl.
That's right. He smiles. And then Mickey goes tells somebody else, "Hey, go empty out those buckets." And Rocky's, "Oh, I got the buckets." And Mickey's like, "Nah, Rocky's like, "No, I've got the buckets." So he goes over there and gets the buckets. And Buddy's with the terrible mustache and mustaches and boxy. That can't be good. Do they Vaseline the mustache as well before they go in the ring?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if a beard is helpful or a mustache in boxing.
Yeah, you would think that having that on your face when you're boxing, but so of course Rocky
stops you from getting cut. I don't know.
Yeah, so Rocky's got the buckets. He's holding them up like this, He goes, "Hey, wait, I'm not done there yet." And he spits in the bucket, and it kind of gets all over Rocky, and then he turns around and he bumps into the other guy. He goes, "Oops," and the guy goes, "Hey, you can't say anything better than oops or tougher than oops."
Yeah, it's like a very macho environment, right? The Rocky's in. And it's somewhere where he previously had respect, but no longer does. Because that guy spit in the bucket on purpose. He wasn't just doing that because he was like, I'm confident he was intentionally disrespecting him. And then when Rocky bumps into that guy, he does it again. I guess it's like a bullying type of thing. And I remember as a teenager watching this and thinking, as a teenager is how you're so hot-headed, right? Be like, okay, let's fight right now. Let's just like step in the ring and fight right now. And Rocky doesn't do that. He's just chill about it. But like Rocky could obviously knock this guy into next week, no problem.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that. Yeah, he could have easily taken care of any of these guys one-on-one in the ring, but so be it. He's not going to hurt Mickey's business or anything like that. He's not that type of character. He really is. He is a softie in the sense he's a gentle person. He's actually a gentle person.
He's extremely gentle. I can't think. There's only one scene ever in all the Rockies that I can recall where he gets pissed and gets in someone's face, and that's in Rocky Balboa, and that's after he hesitated a bit.
I thought
it's like when he was in the van and those guys are calling him out because they didn't buy a round, and then Rocky gets out of the van and grabs that guy and says, "You want some of this?" and puts his fist in his face, and then tells him to get a job. That's the only time I've ever seen Rocky get pissed and threaten someone. Any other time when Rocky gets insulted, he just takes it.
I thought you were going to say a different scene. You're going to kick yourself for forgetting this one.
Oh.
Rocky 3, when Clubber Lang's going after his woman.
Oh, yeah. Of course. You're right. I can see that. I can't argue that.
He was livid, man. He was like, "Oh, Rocky was ready. Like right now, right here. Let's do this." He was like,
"Yeah, you're right."
At that moment, he wasn't a boxer. He wasn't. He was just a husband. And remember the streets, Rocco. He was ready to.
Okay, so you're right, Ryan. I concede. You're right, sir. So there's 2 times in 8 movies there are that Rocky gets pissed off enough to fight someone outside of the ring.
7 movies. It's okay. It's late. We're tired.
No, I'm counting Creed as 8.
That's 7.
Or no, shit. 7. You're right.
It's okay. It's late. We're tired. We're doing this. We're going the distance. This is an hour and a half discussion. We're a little bit loopy right now. Okay, so we'll tie this up. We'll just actually end the. We won't get into. We'll just end it with the gym.
Yeah, I don't have enough energy for the press conference.
No, we're not doing the press conference. No. So he gets his little treatment at the gym. He goes to Adrian's work, and they have a little chit chat. They go outside, get insulted. They go home. Adrian's cooking dinner, and then of course we see Apollo calling out Rocky on the TV. Rocky's watching this, and this is of course the big crux here because now we see Apollo straight out challenging Rocky, challenging his manhood, challenging him in public on public TV, going through all the neighborhoods. Of course, Adrian hears the conversation from the kitchen, and she puts her head down. You can see her put her head down, like, oh, this is really gonna because she knows she's gonna have to deal with him wanting to still. So as a spouse, she's like, we can't bury this issue here. And
yeah, it's not gonna go away on its own. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I think part of Adrian can't blame him for wanting to fight.
No, there's certainly part of her. I think if Rocky didn't have a bad, for whatever reason, let's say his eye wasn't bad and he never had brain damage, she'd probably say, "Hey,
for sure."
Yeah. So she's really just worried about her husband, the father of their baby. She wants her husband and the father to see the baby, not be blind, to not be brain dead. So she's just thinking, she talks about that in Rocky 3 that, what do we have that can't be replaced? We have each other, but the relationships is what can't be bought. You can't buy relationships. So then we see that Mickey, of course, is seeing the same press conference. And he gets all worked up. And he yells at the screen, "Yeah, bum!"
Oh, yeah, he's drinking his soup and eating what I thought was graham crackers. I don't know what they're, some kind of cracker.
It's probably just a soda cracker, soda biscuit, because you're not going to eat graham crackers with soup. It's a sweet cookie with a soup.
I know it just looks like graham cracker.
It could be like there's those brown thick crackers, like not like stone wheat, but I forget what they're called, but they're like brown and really crunchy and hard and thick.
Yeah, and I Jewish people have like a certain type of unleavened cracker thing they eat. Mickey's Jewish,
Yeah.
so I don't know much about it. But anyways, it's some kind of cracker. But I love how he just throws his soup on the floor.
It
You can
bugs
hear
me.
it hit the carpet. It's definitely carpet. It's not on just the floor. And it's like, oh God, that's going to be like a horrible mess.
Well, it's terrible because somebody had to clean it up. Did he clean it up later? Maybe the guy that he wanted to get the bucket of spit probably went up to Mickey's.
It's John. His name is John.
John came up and cleaned this. Hey, John, I spilled some soup on my carpet last night. Go clean it up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Mike, the short guy.
Yeah, he's the actor's still around, and
He was in Rocky 5. He comes back to the gym in Rocky 5, and then
I think his name is James Gambino or something like that.
and he's a real boxing trainer. He's in like the actual boxing business.
We've asked him to come on our show. We'll keep bugging him.
I'm gonna talk to some of my connections.
You really have some?
No, no, of course not.
I was gonna say, wow, you're holding out on me, man. All right, so now Mickey comes over rather quickly to Rocky's house. What does he say? He goes, let's get this bum, or something like that.
Well, Mickey first is incessantly pounding on Rocky's door.
Right.
He's just like,
before we get to this, right? They have Adrian and Rocky have another discussion upstairs. This is where Rocky's pleading to fight again.
is that before? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's like, I never asked you to stop being a woman.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to stop being a man.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure what that means. I guess it's like, this is my role as a man.
Yeah, it's very
this.
It's very 1979. I'm looking at the scene right now. Adrian and them are talking, and Rocky talks about how he thinks he's becoming a nobody again. And Adrian's saying, not in my eyes, like in mine, I am in here. He points.
Yeah. It's like his self-esteem's taking a big hit. He feels helpless. And I think a lot of men have felt that way too. If you're the provider and stuff.
For sure.
And yeah.
He says, he goes, I don't want to just get by. I want us to have good things. I want the baby to have good things. He's actually not saying, I want the kid to have a Corvette for his 16th birthday. He's actually, I think in his mind, he's just saying, I don't want to struggle. I want us to be a family and enjoy life without the worry of struggle. And I'm a father of a lot of kids, and I understand the struggle. And it's not fun as a parent to have that struggle. So him not wanting to struggle and wanting good things for his family is not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, if I were Rocky, I'd fight.
Well, he does. So I know, spoiler alert. So Mickey comes. So they have their discussion. He does that impassioned speech of, I never asked you to stop being a woman. Please.
Yeah.
Please don't ask me to stop being a man. And this is just Rocky's way of saying, like, we are who we are. This isn't about sexism or anything. He's just saying, you're a woman having a baby that you want to have, that we want to have together. You're carrying the child, and you're taking care of the house, which you choose to do, which is awesome. And he's just saying, I want to take care of the things that I think I know how to take care of, the way I know how to take care of them. Just let me take care of the family the way I need to.
I just thought of something. Okay, so Adrian was working at the pet shop while super pregnant, right?
Yeah.
And we find out later in the film that there were complications with the baby as a result of overwork.
Yeah.
And so Adrian was overworking herself and putting her body at risk to support the family.
Yeah, I know. Rocky didn't want that to happen. He was worried about the pet shop diseases.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Adrian is essentially doing the same thing Rocky's doing. She's putting her health and wellness at risk to support the family.
Interesting. Wow. Mind blown. That's interesting. She puts herself and the baby at risk in a way, physical labor that's hurting her and the baby. And we'll get to that. But yeah, we'll bring that up. That's an interesting
Man, if I was
Ironic.
Rocky, I'd go back in time and be like, Rocky, use this argument, man. You could do this.
Yeah, that would have been. I wonder what the alternate universe Adrian would have said if he had said, "Look, you're willing to put yourself and the baby at risk, but I'm not allowed to put myself at risk." Wow.
Yeah, I lose sight in one eye. I'm okay, right? Like, it's not that bad.
But you know
I
what?
guess.
But have you ever had a fight with your wife?
You mean like, of course, of course.
No, fists. No, like an argument. Have you ever had an argument with your
Yeah,
wife?
yeah, of course.
Okay, so you and I both know. Let me just tell you. Let me tell you something you probably already know.
Oh, yes, okay.
Marriage ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Marriage will bring you to your knees if you let it.
Keep it there permanently.
But you, me, or nobody will ever be right. Only your wife will be right.
Yes, of course. That is true. That is true. Even if you have a great argument.
Oh, it's
It doesn't mean anything.
let me just say, if you ever win an argument with your spouse, I love my wife, but if you ever win an
She
argument, with your
wants
spouse,
you to.
no. Listen, if you ever win with your spouse, her response will be, "I don't want to talk about this anymore."
Yeah, we're done here.
We're done. We're done.
You say we're done, you're not done.
So husbands around the world, if your wife ever says she's done, just take that as a personal victory and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's the closest thing.
All right. Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you, Kyle, for coming out. Oh, wait. Mickey comes over, says, let's fight this guy. Rocky looks over at Adrian, like, sorry, I've got to do this. I'm going to train to fight Apollo. It's going to take care of your family. Adrian walks up the stairs saying, F.
Well, I don't think she says anything, does she?
No, she doesn't. Her body language screams.
Yeah, and I think she has that same shirt that says baby with the arrow pointing down.
Yeah, it's the baby shirt again. Yeah.
Reminds everybody there's a baby in there.
So Adrian's not happy. She's not pleased. Rocky knows that, but he's like, let's go do this. And our next episode, we'll talk about how Rocky's training goes when Adrian's not on board.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
And we'd like to thank you, Kyle, Superfan Kyle, for coming out and chiming
Anytime,
in. Man.
Thanks for having me on.
And we'd like to thank Ruben for being here. We hope
Cat cages go okay.
we hope the kitty litter boxes that he's clearing out right now will be all right and fresh in the morning. Okay. Kyle, do you want to take us out?
All right. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. All right. Let me end the meeting.